Going to go ahead and call our meeting to order and declare a quorum of 7 trustees present. Would like to welcome you to this meeting of the College Station Independent School District Board of Trustees. We were elected at large to represent the interest of our community and our state in educating our students. Our mission for our students in this district is success each life, each day, each hour. We adhere to all pertinent laws, policies, and procedures in posting agendas and conducting our meetings. The detailed agenda information was made available to us at least 72 hours in advance, and we have all come to this meeting informed and prepared. We have just completed a workshop meeting where we heard reports and discussed much of the information needed to make decisions in either this meeting or in upcoming meetings. This is a meeting of the 7 trustees in a public setting rather than a public meeting. As such, public comment is included on the agenda at a specific time and requires us to listen rather than take action so as to abide by the Open Meetings Act. We are pleased that you have taken time this evening to join us. We are very proud of this school district. We thank you for your interest in and support of our students. Takes us to item C, recognitions. Mr. Martindale.
Thank you, Mr. Nugent. Tonight we have Ms. Melody Marshall and Maria Sines here to introduce our students from Summer Enrichment and Bilingual Summer School that will be assisting us in our pledge and moment of silence. So ladies, if you'll come up and introduce our students, it will be assisting us. And this microphone, I'm suspecting, is a little too high.
There we go. You want to scoot over? We're going to say, please stand for the pledges.
Please stand for the pledges.
Now it's going to be their turn. Ready? We're going to say a pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here's the Texas pledge right there. Ready?
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Please remain standing for the moment of silence. Begin.
I'm going to turn around and say thank you for attending. Ready? Go.
Thank you.
They have not.
But hang on. So I need each of you to tell me your names. Okay, you ready? All right, we'll start here. Go ahead, you can pass.
First name,
First and last name.
Bridget Given. Isley Jones. Colin Zahn. Andrew Hong. Rami Abada. Haben O.
Step right over there in front of the board. Yes, sir.
Well, that was pretty amazing. Can we book them every month? All right. We'll take us to C2 to recognize artwork that's in the back of the boardroom. This month provided by the Bilingual ESL and Summer Enrichment Program as well. So please take a moment and admire their talent in the back. We'll go to consent agenda, item D. Oh, my goodness. Tonight on the consent agenda, we have item E2, G, J1, J2, J3, J4, J5, J6, J7, J8, J9, J10, J11, J12, and J13.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Ms. Drozd, I'm sure you are holding your breath on that one. All right, it will take us to item E1. Are there board directions and reports, announcements in the superintendent report? Any announcements from any of the committees that we are liaisons to?
Education Foundation Committee met last week to work on a strategic plan for the Education Foundation Committee. It was a full-day event, and it went really well. We had a lot of fun, talked about a lot of different things, and I think there's good plans coming up.
DEIC met, and they spent a majority of the time working on the district improvement plan since the strategic framework had already been approved or had finalized.
Okay, I know a lot of the meetings took the month off with the end of school. Superintendent's report, Mr. Martindale.
Thank you, Mr. Nugent. I just want to take a moment and thank all those folks that made our 3 graduation ceremonies in May occur, even when Mother Nature was not cooperating. So thank you to everyone that made that occur. For our families, our seniors, it's a culmination of a wonderful year. So thank you to all the staff that pulled those evenings off. Just wanted to mention that we closed out our strategic planning work, and yesterday the Board of Trustees received that document in a special board meeting. We look forward to utilizing that to really guide and focus our work into the future. And also, as we discussed earlier at workshop, Bond Planning Committee provided a recommendation to our Board of Trustees. The VLK shared with us the possible bond is around $83 million. The Bond Planning Committee did a wonderful job, and their recommendation does touch all of our campuses throughout the district in some form or fashion, in particular, or most notably, some renovations to our oldest facilities. So while it is the summer, Mr. Nugent, there was still a lot going on, but that summarizes Superintendent's report for the month of June.
And also, of course, that includes your team. Thank your team for helping pull off those 3 graduations. And Friday was stressful, but it was great. Saturday morning was great.
Our best friend through the course of that Friday evening was Shell. So we're appreciative of his help.
All righty. That's going to take us to item F, hearing of citizens. Do we have any cards, Ms. Warren? We do not. Okay. Speeding through this thing, we are to I1, personnel. Consider approval of new administrator contracts as recommended by the superintendent of schools. Jeremy Stewart, principal, Welborn Middle School. Brandy Gibson, assistant principal, College Station High School. Jessica Norton, assistant principal, Cypress Grove Intermediate School. Robin Button, assistant director, special services. Mr. Martindale.
Thank you, Mr. Nugent, board members. As mentioned, we have recommendations for 4 separate administrative contracts for you to consider this evening. The first, Mr. Jeremy Stewart, for principal of Welborn Middle School. Mr. Stewart has served as assistant principal at Welborn since its opening in 2018. Prior to that, he served as assistant principal at Timber Academy and College View High School. Also, we have Ms. Brandy Gibson. She's being recommended for assistant principal at College Station High School. Ms. Gibson has served in teacher and coaching role at CSISD since it opened in 2012. Next, we have Ms. Jessica Norton. She's being recommended to assume the role of assistant principal at Cypress Grove Intermediate School. Ms. Norton has been a teacher at Welborn Middle School and College Station High School since joining CSISD. And we have Ms. Robin Button, who we are recommending to become the Assistant Director of Special Services. Ms. Button, for the last 2 years, has served in the role as lead diag for CSISD. So we have those 4 administrative contracts before the board for consideration. We would ask for your approval.
I'd move to approve the recommendations from the superintendent of schools to issue new administrative contracts to Jeremy Stewart, Brandy Gibson, Jessica Norton, and Robin Button as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, with none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Congratulations.
I would ask, if I may, for those 4 folks to please stand. And you each have 2 minutes if you'll just come to the podium and share. No, Robin, please stand. Thank you and welcome to the team.
Okay, and unless I'm missing something, that is going to take us to K1. Consider approval of the appointment of Armco Industries as the roofing consultant for the district and serve as the architect engineer for any resulting roofing projects. Mr. Martindale.
Thank you, Mr. Nugent and board members. Here with more information on this agenda item, we have Mr. John Hall, our Executive Director of Facilities. Mr. Hall?
Thank you, Mr. Martindale. Thank you, Mr. Martindale, Mr. Nugent, members of the board. Severe hailstorms have swept through the College Station area recently and damaged some of the buildings within CSISD. As you may recall, back on Tuesday, April 27th, we had to hold an emergency meeting to address these issues, where we were able to approve and immediately proceed with work on temporary patchwork at Southwood Valley Elementary School and at Oakwood Intermediate School. It took us about a week to put all of that together. It was a crazy couple of weeks altogether to get that done, but we were able to stop that water just flowing right into the buildings and prevent further water damage to those 2 schools. Now that the short-term solution has been put in place, the long-term solution of roof replacement needs to be addressed for these 2 roofs mentioned, as well as some other roofs that have been identified by ANCO Insurance. They came out and inspected some additional roofs, and we've identified a few more areas as well. To that end, ANCO Insurance has agreed to pay for the services of a roofing design consultant to prepare bid documents for replacement of those damaged roofs. Further, it's in the best interest of College Station ISD to retain a consultant to ensure all resulting roof damage is assessed and valued properly. Armco Industries is a recognized specialist in this building envelope work, and they are the CSISD preferred roofing design consultant, especially after being referred to us by VLK Architects. They have provided a standard fee proposal for a 7% fee, which is to say it's calculated as 7% of the construction cost of the work, whatever ends up being designed and eventually approved. This is an industry standard for a fee percentage for this type of work. Armco Industries comes highly recommended from VLK Architects, and which, of course, VLK is CSISD's named architectural firm for the potential 2021 bond referendum. And they have stated that if we were to process this through them, they would be using Armco. So basically what we're doing is avoiding the upcharge fee that VLK would give us. We're going to just go directly to this specialist. In addition, several other architectural firms have previously submitted qualifications to CSISD, have also listed Armco Industries as their roofing consultant. So it is recommended that the Board of Trustees of College Station Independent School District authorize the superintendent or his designee to negotiate and execute a contract with Armco Industries to be CSISD's roofing consultant and act as the architect engineer for any resulting roofing projects. And with that, I'd like to open it up for any questions or comments.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Hall, this is going to go beyond the scope of ANCO's recommendation, I take it? Or is this just for the claims as it pertains to the hailstorm? That we will be employing, employing them?
This is going beyond the scope of just the claims. This would be a master agreement as a consultant for us for any claims that we're experiencing right now, as well as future work.
And is there a time limit on this? As far as, and the reason I'm asking, just analytical here, 7% fee is what they charge if they have a rate increase or something. How does, I mean, obviously I would assume that would have to come back to us, but is this for a timeline or is this just as needed?
This is as needed.
Okay.
And the 7% wouldn't change.
So I'm just to clarify, this is an indefinite until you cease to view them as our roofing consultant.
Correct, it's indefinite.
Okay. And the second question, I appreciate VLK recommended them, but did we look at anyone else as a roofing expert?
We looked at a few other firms, but primarily went with the ones that were referred to us by VLK, which is this firm. So.
Anything else?
I make a motion to appoint Armco Industries as the roofing consultant for the district as presented.
I'll second.
All right, with a motion and a second, is there going to be any more discussion? All right, with none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, it passes 7-0. And it takes us to L1, executive session. You know what? There's a record to be beat. I'm kidding. I'm just thinking how sad that our government students couldn't be here for this one. But L1, executive session. The board will meet in executive session to discuss the 2021 school safety audit. The executive session deliberations will be held pursuant to deliberations regarding security devices or security audits, closed meeting, exception to the Texas Open Meetings Act as set forth in section 551.076 of the Texas Government Code. Should I go ahead and read L2 as well? I'm going to go ahead and read L2. We're going to stay in executive session where the board will meet in L2 to discuss the superintendent evaluation. The executive session deliberations will be held pursuant to the personnel matters, closed meetings, exceptions to the Texas Open Meetings Act as set forth in section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code. We will be back in a while, and we expect to see all of you here. If not, have a great evening. I don't know why, but I feel the need to say it is 9:56 and we are adjourned.